there, we're back. Thank you for staying tuned with us. Our next guest that we have with us on this evening is the one and only, Dr. Maurice F. Scott. He is the author of God Behind the Scenes, Negro History. And we're going to get a little bit more into the topic of his creation. But just to tell you a little bit about Dr. Scott, he's not an everyday brother. He is absolutely extraordinary, well-read, well-versed, extremely educated. He has a BA in social science from Berkeley in 1971, a BA in African American Studies from Berkeley in 1971, Masters in Social Science, San Jose State University, 1976, Master of Theological Studies, Golden Gate Theological Seminary, 2008. That's not all, the list continues. Doctor of Ministry, Black Theology, Northland International Seminary, 2013. I'm assuming his concentration was Black theology. Also, a doctoral degree in religious studies, concentrating on Black theology from Trinity Theological Seminary in 2017. And listen, Dr. Scott, I don't know if that's all. Maybe we just ran out of room because you have so many degrees that it is an honor to be sitting here chatting with you for the next few moments. Welcome to Books of the Month, sir. Is there anything about you that you want our viewing audience to know that I missed?
Well, I'm just a child of God. I'm a pastor, and I was called to do what I'm doing long time ago, before I was ever born, and right there for now.
Phenomenal. What's the name of your church?
Yeah. Great St. John Metropolitan Missionary Baptist Church, located 985 53rd Street, Oakland, California.
Okay, in Oakland, California. Okay, what inspired you to write this? This is an interesting cover. This is a very, I want you all to take a look at this. The artwork is second to none. I've never seen anything like this before. God Behind the Scenes, Negro History, but there is a portion there in the middle between the word scenes and Negro. Would you please tell me about that, Dr. Scott?
Yeah, it's a, as I look at it, it's a chronological history from slavery to where we are now. As I titled the book, From God Behind the Scenes, From Niggas to African Americans, each scene has its own culture and social events that took place during that particular time of our movement toward where we are today. And that's what you're looking at. It's a chronological timeline, so to speak, in pictures. As a matter of fact, my secretary, she does all this great work that you're talking about now. Even with my third book, The Lost African Americans, you should see what she did with that too. So that's what you're looking at. It's a chronological time shown in pictures, showing where we were in my people, my ancestors came over in chains, and then from being in that era of niggas to color to a Negro to African American to Black. That's what you see on the front page. So
down at the bottom here, I can't get past the cover as of yet. Listen, so down at the bottom, those are those characters. They are depicting what society knew as niggas. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And here we graduated from being niggas to Negroes and coloreds.
That's right. That's correct.
And to
That's correct.
from there we graduated to being Black or African American. Now, I personally have a problem with all
Yeah.
of this, but it's my personal opinion because I'm of this persuasion, Dr. Scott, and you're the one with all the degrees in this. I have some degrees, but not in the same thing you have degrees in. I personally have a problem with all of this
Yes.
simply because why is it that we have to be the people that allows everybody else to name us?
And that's where I explain the juxtapose of our history.
Hmm.
There are two histories that originated when the Europeans brought us. Well, let me say this: God actually allowed us, uh, my ancestries, to come here to be caretakers of not only Christianity, but also of this culture and society. And I say this based on the contributions that we contributed in the 17 and 1800s, over 1,700 patent inventions that made this country to become the #1 industrial nation in the 1900s. But because of our outside of the mainstream, we had to go through these identity crises in order to maintain a kind of connect with the mainstream of this European country that we're living in now, this white society that we're living in now, this Christian society. And what I mean by that, is, I'm sorry. What I mean by that is that during the what I call nigger era, we didn't see ourselves as niggers. We saw ourselves as Africans. The first church was the Mother Black Church by Bryant in 1737. In 1773 was the African Baptist Church. We didn't see ourselves as niggas. We saw ourselves as Africans. In 1778, Absalom Jones, Bishop Absalom Jones, started the Free African Society. That meant that we didn't see ourselves as the way the Europeans, the white Europeans saw us as. We saw ourselves as a people of African descent. We were Africans. So that's why we have the African Methodist Episcopalian Church that was brought forth by Richard Allen. Yes. And during that period of time, we educated our people. We were on the outside of society because they wouldn't allow us to go to school. They wouldn't allow us to take part in, I'm talking about the mainstream of the white society here in America. They did not want us to read. They did not want us to take part in decision makings, but God used the Black preacher. God used the Black pastors to bring everybody under the umbrella of Christianity. And from there, faith and hope brought forth hope to the point where we were surviving, and we made so many different contributions to this society without the contributions of the Africans, without the Christian, true Christianity of the living. Even though we were ostracized, we were horrifically misused and abused, we still lived. God needed a people to really live the Christian life, not just talk the Christian life. And he used, yeah, sure, it was horrific. It was bad. You know, our women were raped, but through it all, God used, he had to have somebody who was strong enough to go through these kinds of horrific pain to come out and be a light for him. And we were the true Christians. We were the people that held up this country. And we're still the true, as far as I'm concerned, we're still the true Christians in this society.
Dr. Scott, where could one find this? Where could we go to purchase this? Because I'm sure our viewing audience, they're going to want to get their hands on this really quick. Where could we go to find this book?
Well, you can find it on Amazon. You can find it at Creative Authors Press. As a matter of fact, you can send to our 985 53rd Street, and you can get copies here in Oakland, but mainly on Amazon. If you're out of the state, yes. Those are the three places where I can recommend you purchasing our book.
Is there an actual website? Do you have a website?
We do have a website. I have to get back with you on that because all of my secretaries know about that. I'm kind of, when it comes to the technology of today's standards, I'm a pen and pencil man. You know, I haven't graduated. I haven't graduated yet to that technology yet.
I understand. I often tell people I'm from the Pac-Man generation, so I understand exactly what you're talking about. Well, Dr. Scott, listen, it's been a joy. It's been a privilege having this quick conversation with you. I wish we had more time to share some more information with our listening and viewing audience out there. You're a very interesting individual. I'm sure you have a whole lot to share with the masses. And those of you that are out there that's watching, listen, you've heard where you can find. You also see down at the bottom of the screen where you can go to purchase one of Dr. Scott's creations, God Behind the Scenes. He's discussing Negro history, astounding, a nation within a nation, astounding Black theology, astounding Negro history. Thank you, sir, for joining us. And listen, thank you for.
May I say this before you? I have two other writings: God, Black Theodicy, God and Human Suffering, and also The Lost African American, that goes along with this God Behind the Scenes.
Awesome.
And yes.
Well, thank you for that
trilogy.
Well, thank you, Dr. Scott. Thank you all for tuning in. See you next week right here on Books of the Month. I'm your host, O.C. Pringle. You have a good evening. Bye-bye.